So this is my immediate reaction to the Leon Edwards Belal Muhammad fight. I'm not trying to spoiler alert anyone because I'm quite conscious of the fact that the fight has just happened. So if you haven't seen the fight, if you don't know what's happened, lock off now because I'm going to be talking in detail about what happened just a little while ago, man. First and foremost, apologies if I'm a little bit incoherent and whatnot because it is exactly 3:54 a.m. over here in the UK. And I needed to just get some stuff off my chest because what we just saw happen there is probably one of the most unfortunate incidents for both fighters. So I'm taking it, if you're watching this, then you've seen the fight, you're aware of what happened. So before I get into it, my name is Rahul Jaychan. This is the Battle Camp. Thank you very much for joining me. So second round, the fight ends in a no contest due to an accidental eye poke on the part of Leon Edwards. You can see it right there behind me. That's the moment it happened. Leon Edwards was faking with a left hand to disguise a body kick that followed straight after that left hand. And he managed to poke Belal Muhammad in the eye. When it first happened, I kind of thought that kind of looked a little bit innocuous because when you usually see eye pokes, it's usually when a fighter's kind of holding their hand out at an angle sort of like this, but in a more kind of stiff sort of pawing kind of way to try and maintain a desired level of distance. In this incident here, Leon Edwards basically just flicked out the hand kind of to make it look like it's a jab in order to disguise the body kick that was coming after. And I can't really, I mean, I've probably seen eye pokes like that in the past, but I've never seen one have the kind of damage that Belal Muhammad took in this fight earlier on. As soon as it happened, the way Belal Muhammad reacted, I was actually quite concerned that this actually might be something really quite serious because I mean I've watched it back again and he went down and you could tell he was in absolute agony. The pain must have been excruciating because Belal Muhammad, he's as tough as old boots, you know. Like I mentioned in my preview video that he's a dog. Like he's not the kind of guy to he's not an easy day in the office for anyone, no matter how good you are. That's a tough fight right there, Belal Muhammad. And yeah, the way he went down, he was literally screaming in agony. Soon after that, he was in tears. He was distraught because he knew that he couldn't continue. So it wasn't even a case of him kind of wanting a way out and trying to use this as an excuse to not continue. It was literally like he just couldn't see out of his eye. I heard him say that to the doctor, that he can't see. When the doctor came in to do his checks, and immediately afterwards you could see kind of a redness forming underneath the eye that got poked. It's a real shame because up until that point the fight was shaping up to be quite an entertaining fight. Like Leon Edwards got the better of the first round. He looked crisp. He didn't look like he hadn't fought in a year and a half, you know. He looked really good on his feet. He was landing. He landed a very vicious head kick that wobbled Belal Muhammad in the first round. But Belal Muhammad had his own moments of kind of success, relatively small to what Leon Edwards did in that first round. But Belal Muhammad did have things that happened in that first round that he could take some form of confidence from. They got involved in a couple of kind of grappling exchanges against the fence where Belal Muhammad was able to, an exchange that Leon Edwards initiated, but Belal Muhammad was able to turn on the fence. Belal Muhammad kind of looked like the more physically stronger fighter when they got involved in those exchanges, which is something you don't really see very often with Leon Edwards. Belal Muhammad kind of started off the fight a little bit tentatively, kind of not really kind of his usual aggressive step forward kind of style, but he did have pockets in that first round where he was coming forward, and also in the second round he had little moments where he was coming forward and he did land a couple of times. It just felt like every time Leon Edwards was landing, it was with a lot more power and purpose. But yeah, it's just like this tops off the year that Leon Edwards has had. All of the cancelled fights, not being able to get a fight, and then finally he gets his opportunity a year after the initial cancellation against Tyrone Woodley that was supposed to be in London in March 2020. He finally gets to fight, and this is how it ends. This was meant to be the fight to solidify his position as the #1 contender for the title, and you know, nothing's for certain in this sport until someone has their hand physically raised. So you can't say that Leon Edwards was on the way to winning the fight, but you know, at that moment he looked like the more likely guy to win. Do you know what I mean? Like, he was the one that was causing more damage in that octagon. So it's a real shame, because it just leaves the title picture up in the air. Like, where do they go from here? And it also gives the UFC an out in terms of who they decide is the #1 contender. It just tops off the year that Leon Edwards has had, man. And I hope this is the end of the bad luck, because he just seems to be getting misfortune after misfortune. I said in my preview video that out of all of the fighters on the UFC roster, in terms of how the career of each of these fighters has been affected by COVID, I said I felt like Leon Edwards was the worst off out of everyone on the roster. And obviously this isn't a consequence of COVID, but it's during the period of COVID, fighting in an empty arena in the Apex. And I mean, honestly, man, I feel for him. I really, really, really feel for him. And not just Leon Edwards, obviously Belal Muhammad, first and foremost, the physical damage that he took to his eye. Let's hope that it's nothing serious. Let's hope that he's able to recover from it as soon as possible. But this was his big moment as well, you know? It wasn't just Leon Edwards' a big moment because he gets to fight after a while. This is a career's worth of hard work for Belal Muhammad, coming in there against a top 5 opponent, you know, like getting the opportunity to show just how good he is, and just taken away from him, literally in the blink of an eye. No pun intended. Do you know what I mean? And it's just one of the cruel games that this sport can really play with you. It's just a real shame. It was an entertaining night of fights overall, and it was a weird night of fights because there was a couple of incidents that happened throughout the evening, and this just really, really, really put the cherry on the cake, man. It's disappointing way to end the night. But yeah. In terms of moving forward, like Leon Edwards is clearly in good physical shape. I think Belal Muhammad deserves a rematch if he's able to make a quick enough recovery. If not, I mean, personally, I think that now's a good time to make the Leon Edwards Covington fight, because Covington seems like he's fit and ready to fight. He just hasn't got an opponent. And Leon Edwards is now the highest ranked available fighter in the welterweight division. And that would be a real #1 contender fight, Leon Edwards against Colby Covington. But obviously now isn't the time to be making fights. We got to wait and see how Belal recovers from this, what the extent of the damage is from the eye poke. And like I say, let's hope it's a speedy recovery, and we'll just have to wait and see, man. But yeah, I suppose the kind of the takeaway from this is it wasn't intentional in terms of Leon Edwards poking the eye, and Belal Muhammad sure as hell wasn't looking for a way out. Do you know what I mean? It was just an unfortunate incident all the way around. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Put your comments below. If you've enjoyed this video, please do like it, share it with a friend, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'll catch you guys next time.